I'm Margaret Lewin and welcome to Margaret Lewin Quilting. Today we're going to be working on block number 27 of Moda Fabrics 2020 Stitch Pink Quilt for Breast Cancer Awareness. I happen to be making mine in two colorways. I am making one for breast cancer awareness, but I'm also making one in blacks, which represent melanoma. So before we get into how we're going to put together block number 27, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do consider doing so. I do quilt tutorials and bag tutorials, all kinds of things to do with sewing. If you are not part of our Facebook group, Margaret Lewin Quilting, please do consider joining us. There is a fantastic group of extremely supportive quilters out there, and I think you will enjoy being a part of it. So now let's get on with block number 27. This is block number 27. I've laid it all out. It's really a pretty simple block. The first thing I'm going to do is put my half square triangles together. Then once I get my half square triangles together, I will square them up, and then I'm going to move ahead putting it together. Once I get my half square triangles sewn together, I can actually put this entire block together. Once I get this block together, or these four corner blocks, what will happen then is it will become a simple 9 patch, and I will put it together just like a simple 9 patch. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work at these half square triangles. I do want to tell you that I did increase the size by 1/8, so they are 3-inch squares cut in half diagonally. I find it much easier to put these blocks together when I increase them by approximately 1/8 to 1/4. On this one I did 1/8, and I feel as if that's going to be enough. We'll find out in just a minute. So I'm going to go put these together and I'll be right back. According to our directions, we need to square these up to 2.5 inches. So that's no big deal. What I'm going to do is do a couple of them live on the camera, and then I'll finish them up off camera, just so that you don't spend 10 minutes watching me square something up. So here we go. They are to square up to 2.5 inches. So what I do is I use my Creative Grids ruler. The first one is it shows the 1/4 inch all the way around on two sides of it. So from the whole numbers, you can see there's a 1/4 inch. The other thing that I like is I like their diagonal line, and then down here there's a 1/2 inch, which is also really nice as a reference point many times. So what I'm going to do is take my ruler, I'm going to lay it on my board, and then I'm going to take the ruler and I'm going to place it so that I have got my diagonal line of the ruler on the diagonal line seam that I created. I'm going to lay it down and make sure that I've got 2.5 inches all the way around and that I'm straight on that diagonal line. I'll come up one side of it, then across the top, clean up my few threads, rotate it, and do that again. That's how I square up everything that I possibly can that's a half square triangle. It's a method that has always worked for me, and I just continue to use it because it works. So there's my first one, and here comes my second one. And again, I place my diagonal line on the diagonal sewn line, making certain that I've got my full 2.5 inches. I do, and I'm just going to rotate it and do the other side. So now I'm going to do the rest off camera. Once I'm done squaring these up, what I will be doing, and I'll show you before I leave, what I will be doing is taking these triangles, just like this, and then the additional pieces that go with it, just like that, and I'll create a 4 patch. And then I will, again, square up that 4 patch, just to make sure that I've got it good and square. Alright, I'll be back once I am at this stage and ready to square these up. I've got my 4 corner pieces all done. Whoops, I have the wrong one up on this one. So now what I'm going to do is square these up. And according to the directions say they square up at 4.5 inches. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I always like to know what my half mark is on any block that I go to square up, because I really want my center to be at the half mark of the finished size of the block. So what I do is, this is supposed to be 4.5, so right here should measure 2.25. So I take my Creative Grids ruler and I put the 2.25 mark right smack dab there, and then I line up straight this way so that I know that I'm straight across. So now I'm going to go up one side, across the top. You can see it's just shaving little pieces off, but that's important. Then I do the exact same thing again. I line up my 2.25, I line up across, I make sure that I've got my corner down here right at the 4.5, and then again I just clean up my edges. I'll do it one more time and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. So again, 2.25 is my center. I make sure that I'm aligned straight across. I make sure that I've got my 4.5 down in the corner, and then I just clean up my sides. Rotate it and do it again. Alright, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to do the rest of these off camera. I've got everything squared up, and this is my square up pile. So that's the mess of the little threads that I got. Not a lot, but enough to make a difference. So the next thing I'm going to do is treat this just as 9 patch. So I'll sew these two, and these two. Then I'll add this one to these two, this one to these two, and this one to these two. Then I will create 3 rows, or that will give me 3 rows, and then I'll attach my 3 rows together. I have pressed all of my seams open at this point, and I believe I will continue that, but I'll let you know when the blocks all together. Blocks number 27 are completely finished. Here they both are together so that you can see them. I'm going to flip them over so that you can see the back side. I did press all of my seams open, and I'm very happy with them. Here's the other set. Do have a couple of threads. I'm going to have to snip these to make sure that they don't end up under the white, because if they end up under the white, we'll see it when I stitch it, when I go to quilt it. So here are the blocks. Let me go through the directions with you. So the only thing that I did to change this pattern was I did cut the half square triangles, B and C, an 1/8 of an inch larger. The other thing that I did different than the directions was I pressed my seams open instead of how they suggested to stitch them. Okay? I did square it up every step of the way. That was the other thing that I did that I think was really important. So here are my blocks again. I'm very pleased with the way they came out. I think they're very pretty. I really like them. So I'll be adding these to the design wall with all of my other blocks, and it's just a couple of days and we will be putting our quilt together, and I'm getting really excited about doing that. Thank you so very much for joining me today, and for especially sticking around all the way to the end. Thank you so much for joining me today for block number 27, Give Me Wings, and I will see you again tomorrow for block number 28. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up on your way out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.